What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech My Hero Academia All Might. And so here we have All Might pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through All Might's accessories because he does come with a lot. For starters, he does get 4 different head sculpts. We do get a smiling expression, which he has on him right now. We get a smiling expression with a little sweat drop coming out. We get a grimacing expression. We get a grimacing expression with blood coming out. Then we also do get 6 sets of eyes. We do have a set of eyes where his pupils aren't visible. We have a set of eyes where his pupils are looking forward. We have a set of pupils looking up and to the right, down and to the right, up and to the left, and down and to the left. We also get several sets of hands. We get a pair of fists. We have a pair of pointer finger hands. We get a pair of hands giving the peace symbol. We get a pair of flat palmed hands. We get a pair of style pose hands. We get a pair of clinching hands. And then we get a left thumbs up hand for All Might. He also comes with 2 different smash automatopoeia effects, which do go on his Revoltech stage, and those do look really nice. He also comes with 3 effect parts which can attach to his person, or you can attach all 3 of them together to make a circular punch effect. I hope I covered everything in this. He also does come with a Revoltech stage. Other than that, I don't think he comes with anything else. I think I covered everything with his heads, his interchangeable eyes, his hands, the effect parts, and then his stand. I think that's everything he comes with. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at All Might. And so here we have a closer look at the Revoltech All Might. Now, there have been several All Might figures that I've been wanting to pick up, but I just never found enough reason to pick them up, especially because the paint apps on them were kind of poor, to be honest. The McFarlane ones look okay, but again, the paint apps on those always bothered me. But this is the All Might that I've been waiting for. Not only is he super detailed, he's super articulated, and I really do like what the amazing Yamaguchi and Revoltech have done here. So let's actually break it down now. I did mention that he has interchangeable eyes, and let me actually bring one of those out really fast. This is what I'm talking about. His face is actually a plate that has a peg that you can pull the eyes out and have them looking off to either down, up, to the right, or down, up, to the left. Or you can have them looking straight, which right now I do have them with the pupilless eyes, which is pretty much how I always envision All Might. There's rarely ever a time when he has the pupils on when he's not fighting supervillains. So yeah, I really do like this expression on him, although the grimacing expression does look good. One issue I do take with this particular version of All Might, he technically only comes with 2 different head sculpts, and that's the grimacing head and the smiling head. The smiling head with the sweat drop is this exact same head sculpt, and then the grimacing head with the blood coming out of his mouth is the same as a regular grimacing one. So yeah, we only get 2 variations of All Might's head sculpt, but I think that's all you really need. So, having a look at the figure, I do like the way he's proportioned. He has that really small head and that really big body just to give him a bigger size to him. And whenever you do proportions, the smaller the head with the bigger the body, it gives it a more broader look, and that's exactly what we have going on with All Might. Now, it does appear like he has a really long neck, and that's just because of how I have his neck posed. If you do lower his neck just a little bit and have him look up, it does alleviate that long neck syndrome, and he still looks quite normal. So it's really up to you how you have him pose. Me, I'm just having him up like this just so you can see what he looks like standing at full height. At least I hope this is full height. I think his legs are together. But yeah, really, really loving this head sculpt. So moving on to his costume. Really love the All Might costume, though. Red, white, and blue looks really good along with some of the yellow. Really, really loving the paint on this figure. The blues are really crisp. The white and reds are just so good looking. There's very few spots that I can actually pick out that the paint is sloppy. Even on the back, it's really clean. And I know one issue people have with Revoltech figures is that they're gappy, full of joints. And yeah, All Might does suffer from that a little bit, especially right here in his upper torso where you can see obvious cuts in the mold. But that comes with every figure, and at least Revoltech is getting better at hiding those joints, because at least he does look normal standing straight up. It is pretty obvious that he does have those joints there, but it's not going to be like giant ball on ball joint that just doesn't make him look normal. So having a look at his arm here, we can see that they did do a really good job painting his gauntlet right here with the little fin coming off of it. Then we do have the stripes right here. We have the little hole where you can peg on the attachments to have him looking like the effects are coming off of his punch, like he's breaking the sound barrier, which is really cool. I do like that. And you can see I do have him with the fist at the moment, which the fists are what All Might does. He punches things until they don't move, and then he keeps punching until he wins. One other thing I really do like about this figure is that all these lines you see on him, they're molded. They're not just painted on. There's a little depth to it, so you can run your finger here and feel that the white has a specific mold line, the red has a mold line, and they don't really intersect after those mold lines, so I really do like that. Getting All Might standing up straight perfectly is a little bit of a hassle, because he does have ball joints in the torso and lower abdomen, which they do function beautifully, which we'll have a look at when we have a look at his articulation. His belt here, you can see he does have, I'm guessing this is supposed to be an All Might image, but it's not 100%, because you can kind of believe that these are the lines in his hair. Then we have his eyebrows, some red eyes. But it does look really nice, and I do like the detailing on it. Surprisingly enough, this is the only place where they did put the copyright on All Might, which I do like that. And then we do have ports for the Revoltech stage, although he is quite heavy and those stages really don't support him all too well. We go on to his really big muscular legs, and that's something that All Might is. He's a big muscular dude, and they did a fantastic job with this figure. Now, if you saw my Instagram story, you'll know I already took the liberty of applying some Kiki to his ankles, because getting him out of the package, and this was a universal problem, is that the ankles were incredibly loose. Like, just tapping them would make him move. Now, you can see I did apply just enough Kiki to make sure that his ankles don't flop around. So he actually supports his own weight now. A lot of people did have issues where the ball joints in his ankles couldn't support the weight, so I do recommend you get either some Kiki, some D-Star Fixer Elixir, or some floor polish, just to strengthen that joint a little bit. But yeah, overall, All Might here is a very, very well executed figure. The size of him is perfect to go with all your other My Hero Academia figures. If you've been collecting Figma or the other Revoltech, he'll look great. He's going to be a little bit on the short side comparing him to a McFarlane figure though, because they didn't do a good job scaling All Might to that. But anyway, that's All Might for you. So what we're going to do now is get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have All Might posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have All Might posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have All Might posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have All Might posed next to a Revoltech Deku and a Figma Deku. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at All Might's articulation. Now, we do have a dumbbell joint going into the neck, into his head. I do like the fact that his hair is a separate piece that does float in between the head and neck, so it doesn't get in the way of articulation. You can see he does look up quite a bit, and I really do like that. And one good thing about the hair is that it does stop his head from being too disjointed from his body. Yeah, you do get a little bit of gapping right there, but because the hair does limit it from going all the way back, it does make a nice little buffer. So unfortunately, because the way his neck is sculpted, we don't get any downward movement with that joint. However, we do have some really nice head tilt, and we do have some left and right movement. But you're mainly going to get tilt and upwards movement with this. A lot of the rotation does come from the neck, so you can see the neck does rotate really nicely, and it's actually a ball joint going into the neck, and it's a pin going into the torso, and I really do like it because it does go all the way down, as you can see, and they sculpted it really nicely so it doesn't break up the sculpt, so that's another thing I do like. He does look up, not that much further, but tilting his head to the side is really no problem. that actually works pretty well, and that does rotate. So we don't have butterfly joints on All Might, but we do have a ball joint right here. The ball joint is actually somewhere right here, and that does allow for some downward movement and some upward movement. So that does help in posing his arm. We do have a Revoltech style joint going into his arm, so the arm does go all the way out. But it does kind of leave some gapping right here because they didn't sculpt all the way inside, because they do have that Revoltech joint going into a ball joint, and that ball joint does allow for some added movement. As you can see, you can shift it up and down, so that does work. It does go all the way around, although because of the way it is a little bit tricky, but you can get it to go all the way around, so I do like that. Where's that joint? I lost where the joint was. It's right here? No. I can't find that joint anymore. But yeah, it should go all the way around, no problem. The only thing is I can't find where that joint is, and it probably got stuck somewhere in the middle. Yeah, if I try moving the arm, I might find it eventually, but I'll just leave it like that for right now. But the arms do go out and all the way around. We don't have a bicep swivel on All Might, unfortunately, but we do have an elbow joint right here, and it's a Revoltech joint going into the bicep, into a ball joint right here. So we do get some pretty good range right there. As you can see, it does go all the way up, no problem. Or you can shift it a little bit forward to make it a 90-degree bend, and it does hide the gap really nicely. And then of course we do have rotation right there, and you do have your bicep swivel with that elbow joint. We have rotation right here in his gauntlet, and that's mainly to help with some posing, because his gauntlet does come over his fist. That does make it a little bit hard for his arm to for his hand to rotate, but you can get some up and down movement. You can rotate that joint to have in and out movement, so it's a standard ball joint, and then of course it rotates on that pin. Get your arm down, All Might. Okay, there we go. I got it. So besides that, he does have a, I'm guessing, a barbell joint right here in his torso, because he does lean to the side, leans to the other side. Doesn't lean too far back, which is okay, but he gets some really serious bending going forward, so I do like that. And of course we have some rotation right there. We do have another ball joint right here, which doesn't go too far back, but in conjunction with both those joints, my goodness, does he have some really nice bending to him. Now it does gap up right here, and when you try moving the joint back, you want to be aware of how you're doing it. You can see there is a little bit of a lip right here, which if you just try forcing it, it's going to catch right here on the crotch piece, so you do got to kind of wiggle it back in case you do it that way. I'm not sure how his legs function though. I want to say they're on ball joints, but I can't get them to actually, I can't pop it off to see, because we do get outward movement going to about there. Legs do kick forward to about right there before they start kicking out. So yeah, I want to say they're ball joints because they seem to function like a ball joint. They have some rotation, so I'm guessing it's a ball joint. Like I said, I haven't pulled them apart, so I can't really say 100%. Then we do have a cut right here in his thigh. Now it does appear like that's a really terrible joint, but it actually does aid in getting his leg out to the side all the way. So that's a really well engineered cut, because you can have him kicking forward, or you can have him kicking off to the side, and it still looks really good. I do like that. So we don't have a traditional thigh swivel, because it does seem to swivel at that joint, so it has to be a ball joint right there. That's my guess, at least that's what I'm assuming it is. We do have a knee, which looks like it only gets 90 degrees, but it goes back a lot. I really do like that. I think we have another ball hinge right here in the ankle, because it doesn't pivot side to side, but it pivots forward and back, and I think we can rotate it. Yeah, it's probably a ball hinge right there. We have an ankle joint, which does provide backward and forward movement, and if you really want to, you can rotate that joint. Then we do have a ball joint here at the ankle. As you can see, it does provide some rotation, up and down movement, and then we have a toe hinge here on All Might. So All Might here is really articulated, and if I miss a point of his articulation, I do apologize about that, but he has so much articulation, it's insane, and Revoltech is known for their insane articulation. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the symbol of justice, All Might, posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I think Revoltech has done an amazing job with this figure. Yeah, there are parts that do look gappy, and there's no getting around that. When you do make a super articulated figure like that, you will end up with gaps like crazy. However, this figure actually does a really good job of hiding a lot of those gaps. Yeah, you can make an argument that when you crunch him all the way forward, his back gaps up or his arms are a little bit gappy. But again, if you're posing him right, you're not going to know any of those issues exist. And that's something I really do like about Revoltech figures, is once you get them posed in a position that you like, you're really going to love the way they look. Just the amount of articulation they get. It's a photographer's wet dream just to see how nice these figures pose. It's really amazing, and the fact that Yamaguchi has done a great job of making these figures more proportioned, make them look more human, I guess would be a good term, and less ball joints. I think that's a really good selling point for this line. There are some parts of his articulation that I do wonder why they did it, especially with the knees, how he has those knee spikes going on because of how they sculpted it. But overall, I still think All Might here is a fantastic figure to own. If you're a My Hero Academia fan or just want a really super cool articulated figure, All Might is a really great figure to have. Now, there is some downsides to this figure. At the time I'm making this video, he is sold out everywhere. You really can't get them from any of your regular sellers. No Big Bad Toy Store, no Entertainment Earth, Hobby Link Japan, nowhere. This guy is sold out completely. So the only way to get All Might at this point is through secondhand market, which he is already going for $200, and that's insane. Luckily, I picked up All Might when he was on Big Bad Toy Store, so he did run me about $80 to $90, which is pretty good, seeing as how he is an import figure. If I had got him directly from Japanese seller, he would have been cheaper, but I'm still really glad I have an All Might in my collection, and I do think this is the best All Might to own for any My Hero Academia fan. With that being said, guys, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews. Don't forget to check out all my other My Hero Academia videos. Hopefully you find those informative. I really don't have too many Revoltech videos up, so go check out my other Figma, SH Figure Arts, and other import style reviews. Hopefully you guys enjoy those. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.